So we're going to talk about a radical model as we come through the spring season, and it is the family garden. It's amazing, actually, how much changed for me when I understood this concept, when I really understood this concept. And I see it every day with my clients. I hope it's going to be as transformational for you as it was for me. It literally blew my mind. So this is how it works. You are here. You are here, you are born, your parents contribute to your individual garden, right? The things that you love go in your garden. The things you didn't love very much, but they were still yours, your traumas, your hurts, your sadness, those went in your garden too, right? So you have a garden. Now, of course, we all hope that everybody's garden has way more beautiful, lovely, nurturing, blossoming gorgeousness in it. That's not always the case. Some people's gardens are like full of spiky things or like jagged rocks. That's the reality, right? Not everybody has a beautiful blooming garden. So you have a garden. You have a partner who created a child with you. So that partner has a garden, their own garden, with all their own beautiful things and all of their own jagged rocks and weeds and pests and all their things. You have a baby. Baby has a garden. I know, right? It's crazy. So let's look at this slide. The family garden is not you plus your partner plus a baby is 3 gardens. No. In actual fact, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 7. 7 gardens are created when you have a baby. When you add another child, so many gardens. For families with 5 children, wow, that is acreage of gardens, right? So let's break it down. Your individual garden, your partner's individual garden, and your child's individual garden have crossover points. You have a relationship with your child. That is another garden. You have a relationship with your partner. That is another garden. Your partner and your child have a relationship. That's another garden. And where all 3 of you converge is the family garden nucleus. But you all have various parts of other gardens. You have your own garden, you have 2 shared gardens with one other person, and then 1 shared garden with everybody. This is a huge concept. I get it. It's so complex and it almost makes your head hurt a little bit. But once we understand and really understand the 3 garden concept, the family garden concept, it changes everything. Because there are times where you are in your partner's garden telling them what they can and cannot do in their garden. I do not want you going to play badminton today. It is not okay. It is da 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 da. You should not right? You're in their garden. You need to leave their garden. That's not your garden. You need to go back to your garden, right? Your child is the same thing. This is very much what we see in the growth and the development that happens in toddlers, right? Where they start pushing you away and kicking you out and closing doors and telling you they don't want you around, right? They're testing the boundaries of their garden. It happens again when you have tweens. It happens again when you have teenagers. It happens again when they become adults, right? They start defining and putting firmer boundaries around their garden, nudging you out a little bit, right? They're squeezing you out of their garden because at one point you took up most of the garden, right? When they were little, you were very much in charge of their whole garden. But over time, they started to take more control of their garden and push you out because you didn't need to be there, right? Their garden Their choices. And this starts very young, right? If you have ever fed a baby a vegetable that they did not want, what did they do? And it goes all down. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're like 11 months old and you are spitting carrots all over your stomach, right? All over the high chair tray. They already instinctively know that there are things that they can control. Yes, you are there for safety. Yes, you are there to nurture and love. Absolutely, that's true. And you are there to show them that they have a garden, what to plant in their garden, and how to take care of it. Because what is so heartbreaking for us as parents is when we find out somebody else is dumping garbage in our kid's garden, right? Does that not send us crazy making? Either it's bullying, or it's a bad relationship breakup, or it's friendship gossiping and, bad mouthing your kid. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're dumping all this stuff in their garden. I need to go in there and scoop up my baby and take over their garden. No, their garden. Teach them to take care of their garden. Teach them what goes in their garden self-respectively, right? What did they want in their garden? What kinds of friendships? What kinds of learning? How curious can they be? Do they want big, elaborate things? Are they more of a minimalist temperament and personality, right? Their garden, their choices. And yes, there are going to be sharp things in their garden. It's going to happen. Pests will come in their garden. But when you understand this concept that there are things that they themselves are in control of, it changes everything. Because then you are not working your whole life to make them happy. Or you are not working everything to take control of all their sadness and mow down everything in their life that gets in the way. No, you teach them to manage their garden. And if they want to be happier, they need to plant different things in their garden. And if they want to be less sad or less stressed or less anything, they need to pull things out of their garden, right? You are not responsible for their happiness. This is an absolutely mind-blowing thing. Happiness is an inside game. You can create opportunity for them to be happy, but they decide if they're happy at all. How many times have you seen pictures of parents who have talked about Disney World for years, saved up all their money, took their child to Disneyland or Disney World, and the child is not having it. Not having it at all. We've seen it. I've seen it in any number of places, right? I did this to make you happy. You need to be happy. We decide for ourselves because that's our individual garden. When it has to do with you and your child together in your shared garden, that's when you get to be exerting some influence. But their personal garden is their personal garden. So I want you to spend some time right now and to think about this concept of the 3 gardens, of the family garden structure, and identify how many gardens do you have in your family, right? If you have 1 child, we know you have 7 gardens. What if you have 3 children? Are there times where certain people are in other people's gardens when they shouldn't be? Because that really is their individual garden, right? And so they're kind of taking over and they're acting, in an aggressive or assertive or dominant way when it isn't their space. So I want you to reflect a little bit. This is going to close down this module or this unit, and we're going to come back and really dive into spring cleaning. But I wanted to have this be a separate thing because I think it's that profound. I think it's that important to understand where you begin and your child ends is not fully integrated, right? It is not completely overlapping. There is overlap, absolutely. but it is not full overlap. Your child has things that your child is responsible for. You can't be with them 24/7. You're not with them 24/7, right? Even if you are physically together, they have opportunities to be emotionally and mentally somewhere else, right? They can go in their imagination somewhere else. They aren't in your space like you might want to be in their space. So boundaries, we're going to talk about, but understand the concept of what is your child's. And now look, if you've got a 3-year-old, their garden is going to look very different than if you have a 13-year-old, right? Very different if you have a 23-year-old child. So know your child right now, and their garden right now is an evolution. And by you watching this video and learning new things, taking this course, thank you so much, you are stretching and growing. You are investing in your individual garden, but you know what? You're gonna plant flowers in your individual garden, and you're going to be able to bring the seeds to your child and say, oh my gosh, I learned this thing about, about winter. I learned about what it means to be angry, and I have these new tools. I want to share them with you. I want to share with you some upcoming things that I'm going to learn in this course. I want to share with you what the 5th season is, this magical season. I want to talk about core values because they're the pulse and power of who we are and all the decisions. Those are seeds that you and I are planting in your individual garden right now, and they can still benefit other people. You can come off this video and go call your partner or call your sister or call someone and say, oh my gosh, you have to take this course. This changed everything for me. All these new techniques and tips I've learned. The 5 seasons framework is changing the way that I'm parenting. It's changing the way I'm in relationship with my partner, with my family, with my children, at work. Like, it's changing everything. That's your individual garden. But when you have these incredibly beautiful, prolific blossoms, you can share, right? So it doesn't mean if it's in your garden, nobody else gets it. That's not the way it works. You can offer it to someone else. Your sister might say, I'm not interested, thank you, but I'm not doing any parenting stuff. I'm totally fine. We're not changing a single thing. That's totally fine. You offered. She doesn't want the blossoms. She doesn't want the seedlings or the saplings right now. And that's totally fine. They live in your individual garden, but they are ready to be shared anytime she comes to you and says, yeah, about that course, who was it that was doing it? Because I really need to get that course, right? It's your garden that you're nurturing by doing this course with me, right? And the benefit of having a garden that you invest in and tend is it gets more beautiful, and people will say, oh my gosh, you have such amazing children. They're so polite and kind, and my kids never want to hang with me. I have been watching you play at the beach, and your children are playing with you like the whole time. That's amazing. You're so lucky. And you'll say, yeah, I'm very blessed, and it's not luck, because we designed our family to understand that we are a collective unit made up of individual parts. And so we foster and cultivate our own personal happiness, and we're able to come together and share in that happiness together. And they'll be like, poof. Family garden, I'm telling you. It's awesome. Anyways, I will take a break right now. I will let you think about your family gardens and how many you've got going on and who's really in charge of all the family gardens in your family. It's always curious to see that. And I will see you back here in a little bit for the next spring cleaning module. Talk to you soon.